So hello everyone, welcome to our case study webinar with Jim Duffy, a longtime Nimble customer, power user, and a business development professional, as well as the founder of the Litigation Connection. My name is Michaela Underdial, and I do a lot of training here at Nimble, and as well as work with our customers on training, implementing Nimble for their companies, and I then use my findings to create content that hopefully helps other people to see how they can be using it. And today, I'm really excited to have Jim here to show him his process he's developed for his company and that he's been using for his clients. He uses Nimble, LinkedIn, and Forburner to do so, and he's been able to build an amazing database and a whole process about what he does. So I'll just let him show you. Take it away,
Terrific.
Jim.
Terrific. Thanks again, Michaela. I'm very excited about working with everybody on this webinar. And, in looking at who is attending the webinar, I think that there was about 20% that were other professionals. And what I do want to say is really this webinar is for everybody, because everything that I have in this webinar applies to just about any professional services business in terms of building an addressable market, and for that matter, any business-to-business individual that might be on this call, we certainly can help them as well. Just to give you a sense of our philosophy, back in my childhood, I actually had my father as my baseball coach, which maybe some of you have had fathers or mothers who were baseball coaches, and one of the things my father told me as a story was a story about Ted Williams, and how Ted Williams was a 400 hitter, and he could actually see the laces of a baseball. And for you accountants out there, obviously hitting 400, that's an extraordinary number in baseball. But not only was Ted Williams one of the greatest hitters in baseball, but he also had more walks than anybody in baseball. So his on-base percentage was off the charts. The only other player that came near him was actually Babe Ruth. So I say that because we build databases, and our databases is what we aim to do is fill that database with absolutely nothing but pristine and well-qualified individuals, so that when we essentially take a swing at a baseball or swing at a prospect, we're talking to the right folks. So a little bit about the vision of my company. I work with forensic accountants, business valuation experts, and economists, and I help them to meet with litigation attorneys that have practices that align specifically with what they do. Not only do we do that, but we also work with transactional attorneys. So if you're an expert who is a valuation expert, and with the upcoming change in the election, with the Biden administration coming in, there's a lot of talk of how the estate planning tax threshold will change. So that could drive a lot of business valuations for the purposes of gift and tax with transactional attorneys. So again, what we do is we match up what our client does and what their market is, and then identify them on LinkedIn. So let me continue on. So 95% of our clients renew with us, and we're very proud of that. And what we do in order to drive that renewal rate is to make sure that we add value every day for our clients. Our engagement letter is really month to month, so our clients can postpone us at any time, but they don't, because they have a lot of value from what we provide for them. So we also build trust with our clients. And the way we build trust with our clients is to know intimately about their clients. So when we are searching out on building a database for those particular clients, we need to understand who are their ideal customer fits for them. And thus we have much better connections for our clients, which is really critical. Go to the next one. And this, we use a combination of the phone, email, LinkedIn, and various other methods in order to drive appointments for our customers. But when we're on the phone, 6 times out of 10, 6 to 7 times out of 10, when we get a person live, they say yes to us. And I'm going to show you why they say yes to us. Now that particular number is really off the charts in terms of that type of a ratio. Typically, the ratio of somebody making a call to an individual and then securing an appointment is in about the 8% range. So we've taken an exponential jump in terms of what we're doing because of the methodology that I'm about to show you. So many companies out there use SEO in order to attract customers, and they use nets. The one drawback on SEO is that everybody is using SEO. So all of your competitors are all using SEO and are all trying to game the Google process in order to get to the top of the heap and also attract those fish that are in the sea. We take a little bit of a different approach. We use a spare. And when we say a spare, we're very focused on who your customers are and going after them in a very calibrated way, a very concise way. Now, in terms of our formula, we use Nimble, and Nimble is a great tool. But in order to initially start our process, we use LinkedIn and LinkedIn Sales Navigator. This you'll see in front of you is a process where we can do a Boolean search to find exactly who are your ideal customers, and we can use a variety of different types of searches to identify those ideal customers. So in this particular case study, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a client of ours who is a intellectual property litigation expert, and an expert in terms of damages, not the attorney, but they're a damages expert for attorneys that are focused on the music business and intellectual property damage matters. So what we simply do is we add some information like music and intellectual property. So again, we're looking for attorneys that have a particular focus on music, intellectual property in Los Angeles. So once we've identified them on LinkedIn, then we pivot and we use Nimble. Now, I'll show you a little bit about how we use Nimble, and we do populate it with all of the information about the attorneys into Nimble. So let me show you how we use the Boolean search in Nimble. So here again, I'm going to simply put in this word music into Nimble, and next we're also going to look at that particular search, and it yields 353 results. Our next process, as we'll see, we're looking for intellectual property attorneys, and you can see that it's gone to 137 folks. Now our client is traveling to Los Angeles, so we want to see how many of these attorneys are in Los Angeles that have that particular those particular attributes. So we can get very narrow in terms of who we're trying to focus on behalf of our clients. And we can do that for each and every one of you folks. I think at the top of the hour, there was some folks that were M&A experts and some of them were bankruptcy experts. It doesn't matter what your expertise is. It's just a matter of identifying who truly is your customer and then essentially using these search terms in LinkedIn to find them and then going directly to their websites to gather more information. So again, this is just a little bit more drilling down. Now in this particular instance, we're actually taking a case of one of the people that we pulled from Nimble, and then we can use this little widget. See this little blue dot at the top here? We simply click on it, and Nimble automatically pulls in all of this information into Nimble. So all we have to do is highlight Karen's name, and then it pulls it into Nimble. So it's a nifty little tool. And I think that anybody who is a professional services expert would really benefit from this tool. And it's not an expensive tool, Nimble. It's a very economical tool. And it also provides additional other information. Now, you don't see it on this particular contact, but it would pull in their, if this person is on Facebook or on Twitter, it pulls that information in as well. It's really incredible. So this is the raw data that is essentially driven from the program. And you can see what's missing in this. There should be a first name, but first name, last name, the position of the individual, the company that they're with, the years that they're with that company, their location, their LinkedIn profile URL. We also pull in their personal profile URL, and that's where we get most of the information is from their own company page. Many times we get direct phone numbers, emails, and then this biography is this unstructured data, which is where we find all the information about your ideal customer. So in this case, we're blowing up that biography piece, and you can see in this particular case that this attorney, focuses on music in intellectual property damages in the music business, and actually had a lawsuit involving the rock star. I'm trying to pull him up. Axl Rose. So usually I'm a little bit more crisp on that, but again, we have all that information right at our fingertips. And this is what we do in Nimble so that when we make a phone call, we can talk to them very intelligently. Okay. So I also use a tool called Phone Burner. So I can do literally 100 calls in about an hour. And here again, you see Karen at the top of this, and we use tags in order to identify the type of attorney they are, and you can see music IP attorneys in this tagging process. Phone Burner simply is dropping that CSV file, or it could be actually an Excel file, into Phone Burner, so we have all of that relevant information about the individual. And then when their name pops up, we're able to talk intelligently. So 75 dials, actually 100 dials per hour, and we get 5 times the number of phone conversations, live conversations. So when I get on the phone and I don't reach somebody, I simply go to the next call. So we can have 5 times the number of live conversations and 5 times the pipeline, which is incredible. Every call that we make is hyper personalized. So all of that annotation that we do with each individual profile helps us to have highly personalized, highly segmented conversations about that particular individual. So when I say, I see that you were involved with a particular rock band, YouTube, or whatever band it is that individual is involved with from a litigation perspective, it says that I know about them. And if I know about them, that changes the biochemistry of how they view me. So when they hear me talking about them, it does change the whole conversation. So this is what I see when this name pops up in Phone Burner. I can see that they've worked with Axl Rose. I can see that their focus is on trademark infringement. Those are all talking points for the call. And when these calls are coming at me at rapid fire, I need to be able to speak intelligently about them. And this is my guidepost for that. So the first part of what we talk about in our phone conversation is about the professional that we represent. And that's always the same for each and every call. But then what is different for each and every call is all of this unstructured data that is really focused on the individual attorney that we're calling on. Now, this next slide, what I'm going to do is talk a little bit about once you've connected to people on LinkedIn. So we connect all of our customers and our prospects that we identify as the right ones for our customers on LinkedIn. We connect our customer to their clients on LinkedIn. But what I'm going to do is show you just a post that we did just recently. And it's not a lot of number of people that viewed the post, but keep in mind that all of my customers are forensic accountants, business valuation experts, and economists. Those are the only people that I really focus on. Not to say that we won't focus on others, because we are starting to branch out, but that's the main focus of our customers, and particularly the main focus of this post. So what we can generate from LinkedIn is we can see who viewed the posts. So, which is really incredible. It's 2 people from PricewaterhouseCoopers, 2 people from JS Held, 2 people from Baker Tilly. NetSuite is a software. We don't want to talk about them. Weaver is another forensic accounting firm. MPI does business valuations. And this last one does business valuations. And this continues down even further. You're just seeing a partial screenshot of what I see. So we are hitting our message, and we're sending out that message. And the people that are receiving that message are specifically the people that we are targeting. And we target them. We also connect to them on LinkedIn. So here's one of our customers, Dr. Stanley Feldman. And Dr. Feldman, we actually produce some content for his particular organization, and he focuses on bankruptcy attorneys. So he does business valuations for companies that are near or in Chapter 11, and the content that we propagate is specifically for that particular type of persona. And again, we're able to draw in those types of individuals to Dr. Feldman's site. So the next slide that we have here, you can see we also generate conversations on LinkedIn. One of the things that we do really well as a company is we focus on who is actually on the platform. So you see this little green button here? That green button means that that person is on LinkedIn at that particular time. And we've generated all these conversations just with people that are on the platform at that one time. And who are the people that are looking at our information, and who are the people that we're conferring with? Again, it's forensic accountants. Bill Murray, forensic accountant. Vincent, forensic accountant. Nelson actually is somebody that's not a forensic accountant. We'll look a little bit more about that conversation a little bit later. Walter O'Hare is from another forensic accounting firm, and we continue on. So the other thing that we do with Nimble, and this is absolutely incredible again, is the targeting that we do is so critical in terms of how many people will receive our emails. So we can do group emails out of Nimble, 50 at a time per day, which is great. And we, one of the most critical things about doing digital media is actually having a good headline. Now, in this case, my headline is have a custom list of litigation attorneys that align with your expertise built for you. The people that we send it to really are looking for that type of information. So what happens? We send out 24 of them, 70% open that email. The average open email rate, I don't know if it's 10 or 15%. Then we get an incredible click-through rate. So they click on the information that we have in that particular email, 62%. Again, that's usually in the 8% range. So what we do as a company is we're highly targeted, highly focused, which leads to great results. And again, it's really critical that your organization is connecting you, or you are connecting yourself to the people that you seek to serve. So if you're not connected to these folks on LinkedIn, they're not going to see your posts. They might see your posts, but if you are a #1 connection on LinkedIn, the odds are people are going to see your post. Just like that post I showed you where I had those 65 individuals, and all of those individuals that looked at my posts were exactly the ideal customers we seek to serve. So here's just an example of LinkedIn. So I sent out this message to Nelson, the individual with the green button that we saw a little bit earlier, and I have kind of a templated message, but then I pull some information from his website about what that individual does. And really, it's all about the individual you're trying to work with, not It's not about you or your product or your service. It's really about, do you understand them? And if you understand them, you can serve them much better. So I start out with this short note. Then this individual, Nelson, says, thanks for sharing. Then my next message is, can we help? We can help meet companies that are ready to turn their visions into disruptive reality. I took that right off of Nelson's site. So that intrigues Nelson even further. He asked me to take a little bit more time in looking at his website so I can have a much more fruitful conversation. That's great. So my next retort is that, again, we help forensic accountants, business valuation experts, and economists. And then I said, I'm going to follow up with him. Well, I am going to be having a conversation with Nelson and meeting him, and hopefully we might even do some business. So that's just the follow up on the conversation. And what we're looking to do is create thought leaders of our clients. So our clients that are forensic accountants, business valuation experts, economists, or any other type of professional that has a particular niche organization, we're looking to elevate them above the crowd. These are my clients. You can take a look at those folks. Those are reputable companies that I work with and have worked with for a very long period of time. We then connect them to their clients, which are some of the largest law firms in the country. We have set up over 3,000 meetings. Most of them were face-to-face before the COVID issue, but these are the attorney firms that we've set them up with, and actually every major law firm in the country, we've set up an appointment with one of our clients. And that's a little bit about our end results for our clients. They've grown dramatically utilizing our services. I think the testament is that they continue to use us long term. So you might be using some type of a process to draw on your clients, like using a net, in effect, trying to use different ways to draw on your customers using SEO. We go directly after the customers, and I shouldn't say go after, we're trying to engage them and make them feel comfortable in terms of working with you and introducing you as a particular opportunity for them to utilize your services. So again, at the top of the conversation, we talked a little bit about me. My name's Jim Duffy. I've been in the business for 6 years. I've driven about $100 million in recurring revenue across many businesses in my career. And what I did about 6 years ago, I decided to say, you know what, I could do that for clients on my own. And I decided to start this company. It initially was called Social Selling Inc., and we later changed it to the Litigation Connection because we wanted to make sure that the name reflected the market that we were serving. And then I have a colleague, Terry Nugent, who's a phenomenal writer for my team. Terry's one of my business partners. He has over 40 years of experience in doing marketing and is, like I said, a terrific writer. He not only writes content, but actually curates content that is focused on what our clients would find palatable and something that they would find of value. And then, of course, we've got Stephanie Geldmacher, who keeps the wheels on the bus moving. So every appointment that we set with our clients, Stephanie does all the follow-up in terms of lunches, coffees, and now Zoom meetings and team meetings. And with that, I think that we've covered the deck. I hope I haven't gone too long here, Michaela, but at the Litigation Connection, we connect you to the people you seek to serve. So I'll kind of hand the baton back to Michaela, and Michaela, maybe you could take it from there.
I will. Thank you so much, Jim. And I think you did a great job And I actually have been taking notes here myself. So what I wrote down here is that I think it's amazing the way that you show that you are building the database. And I think all these things, anybody who's in sales or does any kind of outreach can actually use these tips to better their process, because the way you are building the contact records for people, when you not only take a look at their LinkedIn profile, but then you take the time to actually go to the company's website, I think it's an amazing tip. Because as you taught me during our one of our last conversations, is that the reason you do it is that when you look at the people's bios, that's where you find the most important information, because those are the things that they summarize themselves about themselves. So then you can really use these things when you want to get their attention, like during the first few seconds when you get them on the phone. If you mention some of these things that they are themselves the most proud of, like the clients they've worked with and so on, I think that's an amazing tip. And then when you were showing that you're actually using Nimble's browser extension to put it into Nimble and then make sure that it's included in their description. And you also told me that you actually capitalize it. So then when somebody is looking at the person's contact record in their CRM, these things are popping at them. So when they do get the person on the phone call, they have very short window to get their attention before the person either decides that they want to continue to listen to you, or when they're like, okay, no, sorry, not a good time, bye. So I think these tips are amazing and they're very easy to implement. But I think, like, I actually didn't think about capitalizing things in my personal database. So I think that's awesome. And another thing I wrote down here is the tip that you mentioned about looking at the little green button on LinkedIn. So that's very important to from the perspective of getting the people's attention when they're actually on the platform. And that also made me think about the importance of using email tracking. We have that built in Nimble for individual and group messages that you showed. And I've had other of our power users who's in sales told me that this feature, or paying attention to notifications on how people are interacting with your emails and when, uh, actually resulted in him closing deals that he wasn't really sure about him being able to close. So I think these tips are really great. So thank you so much.
Could I
Um,
just say one more thing, Michaela, if
yes,
I could?
yes, yes.
Like when I do that process, many times I do that on Sunday night, where I'll look at all the people with the green buttons. You
Uh-huh.
could actually build a Nimble group messaging file for all the people that are online on LinkedIn, and you could send them a message and say, I see that you're on LinkedIn on the platform right now. I wanted to
Hmm.
send you this message because we really do know about you, and that you are this particular type of that you have these needs, and we'd love to have a conversation with you. Not a long email, but again,
Hmm.
you're sending out an email to people that you know that they're actively online, and you send it out at precisely the right time because you know they're online.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of things that you can do to triangulate in order to drive engagement.
I
And
love it.
what I've been able to do, because I've literally made a million dials in my life, and have done a lot of work over the course of my career, that I've built up a reservoir of wisdom, because simply because I've done a lot of work, and it's almost like being uh, a big data person, but I did it all manually, So,
Hmm.
but now I'm using tools like Nimble to take that big data and configure it in such a way that we can drive more engagement. And Nimble has been absolutely a success story for me. I'm so happy that when I did research, I did a lot of research on the CRM that I was going to use 6 years ago, and I talked to a lot of people, and people kept on talking about Nimble, and I was like, I am so happy and thrilled that I did that, and I'll just leave it at there.
And we're really happy to have you. And as you mentioned, that you do have so much experience and you've had so much success in your life. That's exactly why I have been taking these notes as a newbie. We did have a question about how you get the information from LinkedIn to Nimble. So I will actually take the screen from you and I will show people how it works, because we kind of like showed it on the screenshot and we mentioned what it is, but I think it will be easier for people to realize how it actually works when I show it. So I should be showing my screen now. So what Jim is using is called Nimble Prospector. It's an extension, browser extension to Nimble, and the whole point of us creating this extension was to allow our users to use their CRM where they're actually working. So most of us are working on LinkedIn or our inbox or somewhere else. We're doing research about our prospects on the internet, on companies' websites, and then we basically have to somehow capture all this information and then put it into our CRM. So that really takes a lot of time. So we created this handy browser extension that works on all main browsers, Chrome, Safari, all of them, Firefox. And the way it works is that you can just bring it up. So here we are on LinkedIn. Once you install it to your browser, you can just click on this little icon here and hover over somebody in your feed. If you already have the person in your database, Nimble will show you the existing contact record, and you'll be able to edit any information, put notes, log any activity. So if you just talk to the person on LinkedIn and you want to make sure that you include this information in your CRM database, you can do it straight from here. So I created a custom activity here called LinkedIn message. So when I talk to Megs here, I can just note it down here. I can set up the follow-up straight from here as well. I can set up a call if we just agree to have a call next week, or if I just want to put it on my calendar. If I want to create a to-do for myself or somebody else on my team, I can do so as well from here. I could also send him an email without having to leave LinkedIn. So let's say I know his email address or he gives it to me in a LinkedIn message. I can just do the next step straight from here. So we're trying to help people not to forget things, because when you have to switch tabs, if you have to log into different places, it's very likely that you get distracted, because then you go to your CRM, there's something that's popping up at you that you decide to take care of first. So that's one of the reasons why we created this. And there's so much you can do on this extension. You can, of course, edit all the existing information. You can organize your contacts by applying tags to them. You can review the history of the interaction with the person. You can kind of see who they are, review their bio. You can qualify the person straight from here. Of course, all this is customizable. And you can see all the previous interaction with the person. So if just somebody responded to you and you're not really sure who they are, you can quickly review their bio, and then also see when was the last time you talked to them, what are the emails that you exchanged, are there any to-dos, is there a deal pending with the person, and then you can do everything straight from LinkedIn. We also have a contact discovery tool, so you can use it to find missing information for people. As long as you know the first name, last name, and the company the person works for, Nimble will find the email address for you. And when you hit on edit here, this is also connected to what Jim was saying. This is where you can edit all the information. So as you are doing your research, as you are on the person's website, you could update the description. So you can copy and paste straight from the website or LinkedIn or anywhere, put it in the description, and you can also capitalize it here, capitalize the keywords that we were talking about to kind of make it easier to see when you quickly need to find the information. And then the information is also important for the purposes of the database segmentation. So I showed you that one way is to just hover over the person. You can also highlight their name. So let's say you are on somebody's LinkedIn profile. you can just you can just highlight it and Nimble will be able to read it. And this way you would be creating contact records or bringing up existing contact records on company website, for instance. And then again, you can click into it. If you don't have them in Nimble, you'll be able to add them and then just click the edit button and put the information you found about them in here. So you find out where they're located, where their offices are, you find their phone number, and so on.
Michaela, if I could just say one other thing, I think, we really look at the website rather than LinkedIn, because we use LinkedIn for the purpose of the research process, but then we go directly to the websites because the websites have more information, like many times the direct phone number, their email. So now you're getting a 360-degree view of that person. And what's interesting about this Brent Larry, who's not one of my clients, if you could pull up to that last screen that you just had, where it shows all, you can see at the top, it shows all the social media that that person is on. Nimble pulls all of that information in. So you can go to all of these different platforms and see how active they are on those platforms and learn more about that person. They might have a particular interest in chess or in golf or in whatever it is that they're interested in. It's really interesting to when you have a conversation with somebody that you can break the ice with something that they already like, and not to be patronizing. You want to make sure that what you're saying is reflective of a good conversation. It's not saying to Brent, "Oh, Brent, I see that you went to Michigan State. I went to Michigan State," and then he's going to be like, "Oh, it sounds a little patronizing." But what you do use that information is to build those conversations, not as kind of a contrived way of doing things, but using your critical thinking in order to drive really good conversations. And really good conversation leads to success and leads to building relationships. And that's what Nimble does. It helps you to build relationships.
Yeah, and I love
Sorry to
that
go
you
on my non-credit
no,
seminar on
this is
Nimble and conversations.
I love that you added this because yes, that's exactly why we created Nimble. We want Nimble to help people to build better relationship. That's why we do the research for people in the background, make it easy to find all the different places where people are active, and exactly how you mentioned, to get the 360 degree into who the person is and what are they passionate about in terms of their professional life and also their personal life is very important in order to build the relationship or just start the conversation before you even get to the possibility of building a relationship. So thank you for adding that, because yes, that's definitely one of our strongest things, I think. I also wanted to show people what the information looks like when you actually get it into Nimble. And we had a lot of people that are not familiar what it is. So Nimble is a CRM. It's a customer relationship management tool that helps you to connect your emails, calendars, and put all your communications into one place. So then once you bring all your contacts into Nimble, you have one place where you have the 360 view into the relationship about the person. So on the today page, you'll see everything that's on your to-do list for the day, what's on your calendar. If you you'll be able to review your deals. You can also see signals. So signals will be from Twitter. We have a direct integration with Twitter. So if you're utilizing Twitter in relationship building or your personal branding efforts, it's a great feature to utilize. And also you'll be able to see how people are interacting with your emails. So that goes to the things we were talking about, like how Jim pays attention to the little green button on LinkedIn to get people's attention when they're actually on the platform. This goes back to when you're also sending emails to people. So when you pay attention to notifications, and in Nimble, you can enable desktop notifications, email notifications, and the type of notification that makes more sense to you. We of course don't want it to be overwhelming and then you stop paying attention to it altogether. But it's really important to see when people are interacting with the email, and it gives you great insight into when people are actually thinking about you, and then you know when to follow up with people. So that's a great time to send them another follow-up, get on top of their inbox, or even give them a call. When you see that they just opened the email with your proposal again, you could try to give them a call and open up the conversation. So that's our today page here. I also want to show you what a contact record looks like inside of Nimble. So here we are. What I showed you on the Nimble browser extension here, that's smaller view of what you can see in the full database here. So of course, on the left side, you see the main information, who the person is, where they work for. You can also create a company record for their company. You can add notes, schedule follow-ups, and also, of course, to review everything that has been done with the person. We also have custom data fields. So you can really create custom data fields for all the information that you want to store about the person. So that depends on your company's needs. So once you do have the information on the contact records, once you possibly apply some tags onto the contact records and fill out information in the data fields, then you'll be set up to start using the search here, our segmentation feature. It's super easy to use, and you can segment your database based on any existing fields and also any custom fields that anybody on your team may have created. So you can start the search here, and you can search the description. So that goes back to what Jim was showing us. I'm just gonna search for people that have the word CRM in their bios. So here they are. And then I can also bring the search down to even less people. I can target it even more. And one of my favorite things to do, one of the features that I utilize, is last contacted. So we automatically capture when was the last time you talked to the person. Once you connect your email to Nimble, we'll be automatically capturing it by you emailing them or receiving emails from the people. And also it will reset by you putting information into the database. So if you said that you just talked to the person on the phone, that's how we get the information. So you can do last contacted by me, and you can do in the last 30 days, and you really get the people that you have recently touched. So maybe you can even separate your outreach list into two groups. It can be one email can be for people you have recently talked to, and the other one can go to people that maybe you haven't touched in a long time. So you can tailor it. And then once you are happy with your outreach list, the next feature I wanted to show you that Jim was talking about that he utilizes a lot is the group message. You can connect as many emails to Nimble as you want, and then you'll be able to always select from which one you want your outreach to go out of. And I would say the biggest benefit to using Nimble's group message feature is the fact that nobody on your list will know that it was a group message. To them, it will look like it was sent from the email you connected to Nimble. So in my case, this is my G Suite account. So Greg, John, myself, and our team account. To them, it will look like I send them a one-on-one message from my Gmail. If I decided to use my Office 365 email, it would look to the person that received my email as it was sent as one-on-one Outlook message. Then of course you can drop
could I make a quick point here?
Yes, please,
so again, using that segmentation tool very effectively in building your list. So there's a lot of people that blast out large, vast amounts of information, vast number of emails. And I'd say they're again throwing that net out there, hoping that something gets in the net. But if you use this segmentation tool very effectively, you can get very granular about that audience that you're setting it to, so that the subject line is the same for everybody. So in that case that I used earlier, intellectual property attorneys focused on the music business. So it's a very granular audience. So you send out a granular group message to maybe 50 of those individuals. They're really going to think that you spent 20 minutes on this email specifically to them. And it just, the open rates are much larger than what you'll see using a MailChimp or some of these other things. Now, granted, you don't get the volume, but what you do get is a high level of quality in terms of open rates and click-through rates. So with that, I'll let you take it back again. Sorry
No,
about that.
no. That's perfect. Thank you so much for mentioning them. Exactly. Because it looks to people as if you did take the time to do the research about them and really tailor the message. So basically using the segmentation feature together with the group messaging, if you do it right, if you take the time to carefully curate the list first using the search feature, and then also slicing it down to smaller groups for outreach, and then again thinking about what exactly goes into the email, and then with the combination of it looking like you send it as a one-on-one message, that can really result in some incredible open rates. And then you will be able to see the clicks and open rates in our settings here when you click on group messages again. So you see how many people opened, how many people clicked. So we also tell you, if you include a link in the email, we'll show you who clicked, and if so, how many times. And that goes for the opens as well. So if, let's say, somebody goes back to the email and they open in the week, you can also set up notifications, and it can even pop up on your desktop, so you can take care of it immediately. So that's all I wanted to show. Jim, if you don't mind, I'll make you the presenter again, and if you don't mind, put the offers slide back on so I can tell people what are the deals that we are running this week, because we do have some people that are telling us in the background that they are considering implementing Nimble. So if you sign up for Nimble and you sign up more than 3 users, you can save 50% for a 1-year license. So that's a savings of over $450. You can either email us at care@nimble.com to ask us any questions about anything, or you can just grab the promo code CyberWeek50 2020 and apply it at checkout. If we have any current customers that are thinking about adding more licenses to Nimble and inviting their executive assistants or anybody on their team, we're running a special buy one, get one deal. So if you add 1 license, you get additional one for free for an entire year. You can use the promo code CyberWeek2020, or again, you can email us at care@nimble.com with any questions. And if you are interested in adding 2 licenses, we'll also give you 2 for free, and so on. So for that, you would have to write to us, and we would be more than happy to apply that discount manually to you.
And I know accountants like discounts, so it's really a very small investment for a big return on your investment. And my last piece is if you'd like to have a free analysis of your addressable market, meaning we'll tell you, or not tell you, in working with you, we will collaborate with you on who your ideal customer is. And right online, we'll show you the size of your market. And granted, LinkedIn doesn't have everybody that's in your market, but has a very large percentage. And then we can extrapolate from that number. Say 80% of your market is on LinkedIn. The other 20% we certainly can find. And all the information that we really collect is directly on the customer's website. So that has much more robust information. And again, we use that Nimble widget to pull all that information in. It's really, really a clever tool. So with that, I'll just hand it back to Michaela, and I think we're done here.
I think we are as well. I just have one last question that just popped in that I wanted to address before we go. Michael is asking about the cost of Nimble. So if you pay on monthly for Nimble, it's $25 per month per user. And if you sign up for an annual license, it goes down to $19 per user per month. So I would say very inexpensive for what it can do. And we will continue to bring you more content and we'll continue to schedule more webinars with experts and power users like Jim to show you how you can really utilize all the features.
Terrific.
So with that, thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions about anything, please let us know at care@nimble.com and we'll make sure to address them. And of course, connect with Jim on LinkedIn. And if you feel like his services might be of need, get in touch with him because he really does know what he's doing. And based on what I've seen, he's been pretty successful at it. So again, I hope you will have a wonderful day and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.